Welcome back to another episode of We Don't Know What to Watch, the podcast where two guys watch random movies and talk about them. With me, as always, is the indecipherable, the unstoppable, the positively downright deliciously evil, the George Clooney to my Matt Damon, Kyle Mulford. And I'm Noah Saturn. How you doing, Kyle?
Oh, you know me, just robbing casinos, pissing off Andy Garcia.
That's what we do. Our main goal in life is to piss off Andy Garcia.
I'm doing okay, and tonight's episode is brought to you by Orange Push Pops because we're the podcast that's meant to be shared with friends.
Mm-hmm. Push Pops.
I love Push Pops.
They are pretty good. I haven't had one in a while. I'll have to get one.
What did we watch?
We watched the 2022 film The Bad Guys.
The Bad Guys.
Yep.
Not just bad guys, the bad guys.
So this is about a group of anthropomorphic animals who live in this world with humans in it, but also other animal peoples. We've got our main crew of bad guys. We've got Wolf, Mr. Wolf. He's the leader. We've got Mr. Snake. He's kind of like the co-leader / safe man. We've got Master of Disguise, Mr. Shark. We've got Tech Wizard, Miss Tarantula. And we've got Crazy Muscle Man, Mr. Barracuda. So, Mr. Piranha.
Piranha.
Because he's very short. But he's
Piranha.
crazy. He's like the Wolverine of the group. He's a short, crazy guy who fights a lot.
Yes. So much fun. Yeah, so I don't know, what's your snowball pitch, if you will?
What happens when a group of typically bad guys decide that, whoops, they want to try and go straight?
I don't know. What happens?
Well, they have a great time, and then they're definitely not accused of something they didn't do, so they definitely don't have to work together to clear their own names.
Definitely not. Yeah, it's a really cool movie with a good cast, and it kind of opens up with Snake and Wolf in a diner. It's very Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, very Tarantino
Pulp Fiction opening, and they are
random things.
Yeah, and I love that they start in the diner and they're talking about how they've always got a table at this diner and it's because everyone's cowering in the corner because they're the bad guys of the town, and so they're always robbing and thieving and all this stuff.
Yeah, so let's get into that voice cast. So let's go down through it. Who do we have?
We got Mr. Wolf as Sam Rockwell, which I am a huge fan of Sam Rockwell. So
it's always great. That was a nice surprise.
And then the Snake is Mark Maron, which I don't know his stuff very well. Doesn't he do like a podcast or something?
It's a very popular podcast, but yeah.
And then the Tarantula is the always funny Aquafina.
She does a great job.
Shark is played wonderfully by Craig Robinson.
Yep.
The Master of Disguise. And the Piranha is played by Anthony Ramos, who was he in the new, what was it? Was he in the Heights?
Yes, he played Usnavi in the Heights. He was the main guy.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't really know him from much other than In the Heights. I'm sure I've seen him in other things. So, and then we've got the guinea pig, Richard Ayoade, who, if anybody's like me, you're going to know him from the IT Crowd because that show is great.
And also for his work in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
I don't know that one.
I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's amazing. Very much.
And then we have two other main characters. One of them being Diane Foxington.
Governor Diane Foxington.
What's that?
She's the governor.
No, she's the governor. The governor. Played by Zazie Beetz, who I'm a fan of. And then we have a cop. I can't remember the cop's name. I didn't get that written down, but
Chief Misty Luggins.
Misty Luggins, yes. She is played by Alex Borstein, who is the voice of Lois on Family Guy. And also, I think a lot of people might know her as the friend on Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yes, she's done a lot of work with Amy Sherman Palladino.
So, yeah, I mean, wonderful cast of actors there. And running down this is kind of like the beginning of the movie is Wolf and Snake go in and just walk in and nonchalantly rob a bank and then walk out and start a car chase. And while they're car chasing, they introduce each of the members of the gang as they pick them up along the way to their hideout. And he's sitting there talking, narrating the film while they're being chased by the cops.
And he talks to the audience, which is always fun.
Uh, while they're being chased by the cops in stunning animation, by the way.
Yeah, what's nice about this, especially at DreamWorks, they've decided to stop competing with Pixar from a stylistic perspective and just kind of do their own thing. So in this case, they decided to go with the hyper stylized, very cartoony, I would argue more kind of a graphic design because they have a lot of speed lines for emphasis, similar to you would see in a comic book.
Yeah.
And also it's kind of there's sort of an and from a textures perspective everything is very flat, so I thought that was an interesting stylistic choice as well, because instead of I think of something like Pixar where if there's like a hairy or a furry character they seem like they have to render every single strand of fur on them. Well, in this one they really don't. All the surfaces are pretty smooth, so like Wolf for example, he has fur but it's just kind of more accented by a few lines I need and every once in a while, but it's not. Yeah, it's not fully rendered
But it's not that makes it sound like they were lazy with it, but it's not. It's actually like very stylized and very intentionally done. And I think it looks amazing actually.
I think it does look great too. So they were able to use that on purpose to create a very slick, fast moving animation style because a lot of times, especially when this is a movie about where multiple heists occur, you want everything to be silky smooth and slick so you can kind of move the camera around, jump around with characters moving fast, talking fast, and of course lots of action here and there and plenty of car chases because there's at least 2 or 3 car chases in this film.
Yes, action is definitely a big factor in this film. So, because so this starts out with all of the bad guys. You know, they have their bank robbery at the beginning, car chase, introduction to everybody, and then they get away with it. And then they realize they need a big score because the governor got on TV and was like, "Yeah, you guys are just boring. We're going to catch you. It's and whatever." And they're like, "Oh, we need to be recognized more, so we need the big score." And there's a giant award going on for the Good Samaritan Awards, and the award is a golden dolphin. And so they plan to steal the golden dolphin from the town because that would be the biggest score they've ever done.
Because other people
And
have tried, but it's never been successfully stolen.
and everyone has been caught except for the Crimson Paw, who did not get caught, but also did not finish stealing it. So, but did try. And while they're there, you know, they have all the ruse. Like Shark gets his costume, which his disguise, which is of a lady, which lends to some fun scenes where they're like, "Oh, we need a distraction." He's like, "Oh my god, I'm going into labor, my baby." and, and I love when they
Yes.
don't need one of my favorite lines in the movie is when they don't need the distraction anymore. And he just gets up and goes, "Oops, I forgot. I'm not pregnant," and walks away.
Yes, I just really love all of their distraction there. I love all of their the disguises for when they're going into this. So yes, so Shark is dressed like a woman who's kind of wearing like a flower on her head, but the flower is actually just tarantula in disguise. She also goes by Web, so I'm just going to call her Web. So it's Webs in disguise, and then Wolf is wearing like kind of a pencil mustache and sunglasses and a hat. And then Snake is probably my favorite disguise because he's got like a top hat, glasses, a little jacket, and then these fake arms that are just attached to his jacket.
I was going to mention that because that was my favorite one too. Just the arms flopped at the side, like bent at like a 90-degree angle, and just sitting there. That actually that suit made me chuckle.
Yes, that was really funny too as well. And then I forget what Piranha was wearing
Yeah, I don't remember either because he's always just
because I know
going
he
crazy
dresses up.
somewhere.
He ends up dressing up as a waiter as part of the wait staff
Oh, that's right. Yes. So,
because he's
yeah, and then while they're there, the whole thing leads up with Fox is go or not Fox. Wolf is going downstairs somewhere, and an old lady trips and almost falls as he's trying to steal her purse.
yeah because as he's been
And
going around schmoozing, talking to people, he just is like picking pockets as he normally does.
because he just can't help it.
Hmm.
And he's going to pick the this purse off this old lady, and then she starts falling, and he actually like grabs the purse and saves her by grabbing the purse, and then his tail starts wagging, and he and he learns, oh wait, this is what it feels like to be good.
That's kind of nice.
And so then you get this Professor Marmalade, the guinea pig, because they get caught there. And Professor Marmalade is like, hey, let's do an experiment. Let's see if, let's not put them in jail. Let's see if I can turn them around and make them want to be good guys instead of robbing everybody. And so they
And they
go
get
to,
put in this. So what's fun about this is, the big elaborate heist. There's lasers, of course, and everything. And then here I took notes on theirs is the anti there, the special security device.
oh, well, yeah, I didn't put down the acronym.
Yeah, it was like the wolf shark. Yeah, I got it there somewhere. I thought I wrote it down, but anyway, it was like, yeah, the WPSST, the wolf piranha spider snake tarantula theft device or something like that,
Yes. Specifically aimed at them.
which I just loved. They had some funny acronyms in this one because then on the side of like the big, police wagon was like SUCM, which means like super ultra crazy maximum prison or something.
Yeah, and the whole premise of the show is basically like they're bad guys because that's what they're perceived as just because of who they are. Like the wolf. You always see big bad wolf in the storybooks and in Little Red Riding Hood and the Three Little Pigs. It's like the wolf is always a bad guy. People hate snakes. People hate spiders. They're scared of sharks. They think piranha will just eat you alive. So they're always portrayed as bad guys. So they just go with it because that's what people think they are. So it's actually it's a good message for kids too in this movie without being like, yeah, they bring it up in the beginning, but they don't put they don't bash you in the head with it.
So yeah, so Professor Marmalade is who's like the goodest man, second only to Mother Teresa, which I thought was a great line.
Yes. Well, and then he's like, well, I mean, I think it's more of like a tie, really.
Yes.
He's a very humble, good guy.
hmm So he decides, hey, instead of sending them straight off to this maximum prison, what if I try and teach them to be good? And then, of course, then Wolf realizes he sees the angle. We're just gonna pretend to be good, and then instead we're gonna have a second chance at stealing the golden dolphin. Because like in a month from now, Professor Guinea Pig is hosting this charity gala called the Gala of Goodness.
Yeah, and then of course, while he's at the compound, he saves a kitten from a tree, and he feels good about it again, and he starts kind of wondering, what if I really did go good? And when they go to steal the thing again, they have this whole elaborate plan again, and there's a lot of shenanigans going on, a lot of humorous stuff, and he fails to do his part. But then you get the big plot twist at the end of this whole failed
Yeah,
heist.
our big second act plot twist. So yeah, let's go through. So there's a fun training montage or goodness lesson montage where they're trying to do good. So then one of them is like helping an old lady across the street. So then Wolf has to dress as an old woman so Piranha can walk him across the street. Piranha stops midway through, and then you just see like Wolf just get hit by a car, and then just fall back down splat. And then then they try and get a cat out of a tree, but then of course they get the cat down, but then it freaks out, so it scratches Wolf's face, and then they jump up. So then and then during this whole time they have to wear these good guy uniforms, so they're all dressed like this one is a teddy bear, this one's a bunny, and then they're kind of like these pull up these hoodies with onesies. And then my favorite one though is Wolf's, just because of how dumb it is. But his onesie is a sheep.
Yeah, just so that one's very in your face.
Yes, and
but I think that's what makes it funny.
hmm And at one point, the governor comes to visit, saying, Wolf, you actually could be a good guy, stuff like that, trying to get her skin. Then he's trying to charm her. It's like, and then she says, and I quote, "Don't Clooney me." It's like, what?
Yeah,
I'm not trying to Clooney you. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, and
And then they have this one heist where they find out that like there's a bunch of guinea pigs in a lab. So then, of course, Professor Marmalade says like, "All right, we're gonna go save the guinea pigs." And of course, at the beginning of the film, there's a conversation where that snake says guinea pigs are his favorite food because they're so delicious. So then
exactly.
he's like, "Yes, I'll do this.
I'll save save them for supper.
Exactly. So then they have to, sneak in because they think they're doing this for a good thing. But then they get caught again. But at one point, and I love this part, it's so they get in, but then when they finally get into the room where all the guinea pigs are unlocked in their cage. Then they open the garage door and it's just Snake with like a huge, comically large belly. He just ate almost all of them.
And then
Of
he
course,
has
then the
to.
police find out with Professor Marmalade, so they try and get away, and then they want. Then at one point, like just to get him to throw up, Wolf grabs Snake and is just like swinging him around so that all the guinea pigs come out. So then they get charged with assault with a deadly reptile, which I thought was great.
Nice. Yes. Yeah, and then those guinea pigs come into play later, obviously. And I love how Marmalade is a anthropomorphic guinea pig, and then we have all these guinea pigs who are pets of humans too.
Yeah, I thought it was like kind of like a goofy Pluto situation where you just don't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing I really liked is so then once we finally get to the Gala of Goodness, there's this big moment where Snake is because the actual trophy of the secret code that they need to unlock the case where the golden dolphin is kept in an envelope inside a special briefcase that is handcuffed to the police chief. So Snake goes to try and open it, and then as he's getting it out, then like she shuts the briefcase on his tail, and the point where like then Chief is, this isn't so bad. I might even ask for a lemon water in a fancy glass. And then she gets like, then she looks for a glass, but and then instead of grabbing the glass, she grabs Snake's head. So he has to just put him like safe. He just like puts his mouth in the shape of a martini glass.
And his tongue is up like the little stirrer in there.
Yeah, like the toothpick or whatever. So I thought that was really funny. And then she tries to come drink it a couple times, like, oh no, she's gonna find out. And then Piranha just runs to the front of the stage and starts singing, starting with "Look at me."
Yeah,
And then
that was great when he starts just belting it out, and then you go, "Oh yes, Anthony Ramos from In the Heights."
yeah, he's a really good singer. So then they actually go into this really fun musical number about being a good
Yeah,
guy. And then it actually helps the charity auction raise a ton of money where these people are starting to put money in. Did you see later at one guy is just putting like gold bars on top of the
yeah,
charity box?
gold coins, gold bars, and then all these trucks get loaded with all this cash. Yeah, and after all the big number, and Wolf doesn't go through with his part of the plan, but then because he's supposed to push the button to take out the power, and the power goes out anyway, and then through a series of mishaps, they think that it was them that stole it again.
Because they didn't steal the golden dolphin. Instead, the meteorite. Because 1 year ago, like a meteorite crashed into the city and caused a bunch of damage and stuff. So then Professor Marmalade was the person who kind of helped the city. So that's how he got his fame as being a good guy. And it's a meteorite that's shaped like a heart or it's shaped like a butt, depending on who you ask.
It's the butt rock.
Yes, at least according to the bad guys.
It's it's not a butt.
So then, of course, they think the bad guys did it. And then you
Well,
find out.
and this is one of my favorite parts when they think the bad guys did it, and they throw them in the back of the van, because throughout the film you've got this reporter reporting on everything that's going on, because all of this is like robberies and all this stuff which would be on the news, and this reporter's always telling all the stuff that's going on throughout the movie, and then at this point she goes, well, it turns out the good guys weren't the bad guys. Tonight's headline is change is impossible. You should always judge a book by its cover, and all stereotypes have been affirmed.
Yeah, there were some pretty funny headlines, especially if you watch like the news ticker. There's a couple of jokes in there as well.
Yeah, they're just little things all throughout the lower thirds on there, just scrolling by at the bottom. It's all pretty good. They don't waste any space in this film.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when they get thrown in the back of the police van, and Professor Marmalade jumps into the van with them real quick to talk to them. He's like, let me talk to them again. And he goes in there and he's like, haha, it was me all along because I'm a bad guy. No
Yep.
one would suspect a cute little guinea pig.
So he's stealing the meteorite, and the whole reason that he wanted to rehabilitate the bad guys in the first place was because they'd be the perfect cover, so no one would suspect him. So now he can become the greatest crime spree of all.
And then they put all the bad guys in, and he gets away with it, and they put all the bad guys in this maximum security prison. It's kind of like the Raft from Marvel, where it's just out in the middle of the ocean. And and I love this because then the mastermind criminal, the Crimson Paw, comes and rescues them, and you get this whole scene where she's beating up all of the guards in there and then freeing them, and then all of a sudden she beats up the last guard, and then they just skip out on the rest of all of the escape, and it just cuts to them in a boat with the prison exploding behind them.
Yes, and we get the reveal that the Crimson Paw is actually Diana Foxington, proving that she used to be evil. She used to be one of the best, but instead she decided to be good. So maybe change really is possible.
But she still had fun being bad again.
That's true.
Yeah, so then it's just kind
So
of
then then we get kind of the third act breakup, like in any sort of rom com, or instead, because it turns out that Wolf has kind of been working with Diana on the backside, saying that, hey, you can just, return all the stuff that we stole. So, and of course, he doesn't tell them that. And then the rest of the crew goes back and they're like, they stole all of our stuff. What? That's not fair. Now I know what it's like to be stolen from. This sucks.
that was another good line.
And then they go back to the refrigerator, and once again there's a single push pop, because earlier in the film there is a push pop, and then like, oh, push pop, there's only one left. Snake really likes it. He pretends he's going to give it to Shark, but then of course he swallows it instead. And then later in the good guy in the training montage, Snake is like really slowly trying to give it to Shark, and he's just like shaking the whole time, but he still can't do it. But then of
And then
course,
then finally we get this where he's been double crossed by Wolf, because Wolf has gone good, and he's like, gosh darn it, and then he grabs the push pop and is going to give it to Shark, and he does, and says, well, I gave it to him because he felt bad. I wanted to make him feel better. And they're like, you're being good. Well, no, he just felt bad, and I wanted someone else to feel better. They're like, your definition of good.
and then their tails start wagging, or in this case, either
And
their
fins
tails and fins
and little spider butts.
and little spider butts. Like, this is great. This is what it means to be good. Maybe we should be good guys, because Diana and Wolf are trying to work together, try and figure out what the plan is and what the evil is that Professor Marmalade is going to do. So they run off to that, and then it turns out that Diana still has all of her old spy stuff. So they get their gear, they get together. It's like, oh man, there's no way this could be a trap. And of course they're caught because it's a trap.
It's a trap. And yeah, and Marmalade's plan was to use some sort of magnetic forces of the meteorite to control, like give power to his helmet, which gives him mind control over all of the guinea pigs in the city.
So then
to steal all the money from the charity.
Yep. So this giant wall of guinea pigs and waves of guinea pigs going after people.
And then they steal all of the truckloads of money and cash and gold bars, and and guinea pigs are like driving around in a trance. And then we get a giant chase scene again, which is another really fun car chase throughout the city.
And of course, before that, we find out that Snake has decided, no, I'm evil, I'm going to stay evil. So he decides that he wants to team up with Professor Marmalade, and he even gets to use the mind control helmet for a little bit. But we'll get back to that. So the team has all got back together with Diana, Webb, Shark, Piranha. They come to the rescue, and then they get in the car, and they decide they're going to steal the butt rock and then take it back to the police. But one thing's important. Right before they leave, as they're about to go on to run away in this epic car chase, they stop to take the cat out of the tree, and then the cat gets its own little pair of sunglasses.
Yes. Before they return the butt rock, the police think that Wolf's a bad guy again, because he gets to the police station. He's like, I can't do this without my friend Snake. So he takes off again, still with the butt rock in his trunk, and chases down Marmalade and the Snake who are in a helicopter. And then you get this whole third act twist where Snake was like, I'm I was actually being a good guy, and I was just fooling Marmalade.
Yeah, so there's as far as Chekhov's, there's going to be a lot because everything in this
Oh,
movie seems to come back. And on the second
yes.
time I watched it, that was a very satisfying screening because at the beginning, yeah, I'll go. We can go through it all later, but happy ending. Everyone thinks that Professor Marmalade is the good guy. Yep, I definitely wasn't stealing the meteorite. I was bringing it back. I was definitely bringing it back so I could go back to my compound for safekeeping. And then we find out, wait a minute, that's not the meteorite. That's just a lamp painted to look like the meteorite. And then we find out that Snake was good the whole time because instead of because when he took over the mind control helmet, he used the guinea pigs to swap out the butt rock with the lamp, and then after the bad guys stole what they thought was the butt rock was actually the lamp, and he put the real butt rock over there, and then set it to a timer so it would explode.
Indeed. And everyone lives happily ever after.
Except Professor Marmalade, because now they think he's the Crimson Paw and he gets arrested.
Yeah, so I mean that's a great turn of events. So now Crimson Paw can retire and everyone thinks it's him. Yeah, so let's go into Chekhov's checklist because we've got number one is Chekhov's orange push pop.
Chekhov's push pop. Yep, that becomes an important plot point. I would also
Yeah,
want to say
especially the very last line where he's like, "Who put the push pop in the freezer?"
exactly. Then I also would like Chekhov's meteorite
Chekhov's
because
butt rock.
yep, because the first time we see the meteorite is on like the headline of a newspaper in the opening scene on the table where Snake and Wolf are talking, and then it's mentioned again and again and again, of course.
Yes.
Uh,
So,
Chekhov's grappling gun.
oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was
Because
pretty
when they
great.
try to escape the award ceremony the first time, Wolf uses a grappling gun, but then he just loses his pants. And then the second time, Piranha tries to use their grappling gun, but then it just hits Shark on the head. But the
And then they
third time,
finally get to a bridge where they're all falling to their deaths, and he's like, "But I've got a grappling gun," and it finally works.
and it finally works the third time. Let's see, what else did we have? We talked. Yeah, those are the three that I noticed. But I would argue the whole movie was just all about setup and payoff.
It really
Because
was.
especially with
It's
a
very
heist
smartly
film,
written.
yep, it definitely feels like Ocean's 11 or any other really good heist film because it's all about telling you some information but not quite enough so that there's always a twist or two that you're not expecting.
Yeah. So let's go into what we recommended this film.
Well, I was actually talking about this movie with my wife, and we called it Baby's First Leverage. If you've ever seen that show,
Oh, I love Leverage. That's a
yeah.
great.
See, it's
I haven't watched the new series yet, but it's on my list.
but yeah. So it's I think that Baby's First Leverage is a great name for it.
That is
Because when you think about
fantastic.
it, it really is. So, and one more Chekhov thing I forgot was Chekhov's farts.
Oh
Because when Piranha
yes.
gets nervous, he farts. So at one point he farts and this stinks up the car, and then at the other part he's farting so much that when Webbs is trying to do finish her hacking job, she almost faints. And then thirdly, they think it's they like when Diane and Wolf are slowly being fed to this, basic, it's any sort of evil scientist. They're hanging from ropes and they're going to go down into this evil thing with tons of blades that are moving really fast. Like, oh, and then Diane's like, no, poison gas. And Wolf was like, that's not poison gas. And then, Piranha and Shark and Webb show up to
Yeah,
save
that's
them. So yeah,
they
I
actually
forgot about
do. If you've noticed, they actually do the rule of threes with this quite often too. It's first try, second try, and then now that we've established that this is a thing, third is when it actually helps or clues someone in on something or whatever. So it's two times with grappling hook, and then the third time it works. Two times with the farts, and then it's like, oh, I know that fart, and so it's a set up, payoff, set up, payoff,
hmm
and it's done very well with that.
Yep, as well as the push pop.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a third one too. So would you recommend this movie?
I think absolutely. I think it was a lot of fun. I think if you had kids, it'd be great because you get some fun action in there. but also it's still very, PG action or G-rated action because no one really gets hurt. Cartoon physics where, like, even when someone gets hit by a car, they can brush it off, even if they just look a little disheveled. And then,
Yeah,
absolutely. And then as an adult, it's fun to watch because it is very well written and it is fun to notice those little details.
yeah, and I'm just going to echo that. Basically, exactly what I'm thinking too is highly recommend. This is actually a on my scale, it's a buy it. Like, actually spend the money to buy this movie if you've got kids, especially. Like you said, it's great for adults because the humor is smart, but it's not. It's great for adults without being like, oh, we're edgy because we got adult humor in here. It's just smartly written but still good jokes for kids. This is also based off of a series of kids' books. So, like, if you've got like grade schoolers, they could watch this movie, and also you could get them the book series too. And yeah, yeah, this is definitely a buy it movie, and watch with your whole family. Watch with this. This is great for anyone from 5 to 105. So
Yeah, and another one of my favorite jokes that I forgot to mention was, during Shark's introduction as Master Disguise, his greatest heist, stealing the Mona Lisa while dressed as the Mona Lisa.
yes, that was a good one too. There, that is another thing. Like I said, these jokes are ones that aren't going over kids' heads, but they're so well written that, like, as an adult, you're laughing at these jokes.
And there's lots
It's
of great visual humor as well.
yeah. So no, this is a. I think this is a high recommend from both of us. So what would you watch as your double feature? Since we're not going to say watch instead of.
Yeah, so watch with I guess as far as that, it's really hard to find like I guess another kid appropriate heist film. So I'm just gonna go with the obvious one, and I'm gonna go with Ocean's 11.
I think that's a fair assessment. I almost went with a more adult movie too, but I got to thinking about it and I was like, okay, this is a great kids movie with anthropomorphized animals, and you know, it's a bad guy who turns good and works with the governor. Well, it gave me a lot of vibes of another really great movie, which was a Disney movie called Zootopia, where you've got a con man fox who ends up working with a police rabbit to take down some criminals. So like he actually goes good in that movie too. So I
Would
think
you mean Baby's first 48 hours?
yeah, yes. And both of those are excellent movies and both great for adults and kids. So I would highly recommend that as a double feature with your whole family.
Agreed. And one more recommendations. I changed mine. Instead of Ocean's 11, I'm going to go with still another Soderbergh heist film. I think I'm going to swap that with Logan Lucky because Logan Lucky has Channing Tatum and then it has Daniel Craig in a southern accent.
Yes, the precursor to his detective Benoit Blanc, right?
Exactly.
That's a good choice too. I like that one, and Daniel Craig is fantastic in that movie.
Hmm.
All right, should we move on to our third and final segment of the show? Speaking of threes,
Sure. Yeah. So we should probably spin that wheel.
let's go ahead and spin it. 70 or better, and spin. Okay, we have Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark become targets of the Capitol after their victory in the 74th Hunger Games sparks a rebellion in the districts of Panem.
Oh no. Hopefully there's no quarter quell or whatever.
We're getting a sequel, a sequel movie to watch. But you know what? We did that with John Wick 2 also. So, that's what the wheel dictates our future, right?
Mhm. The
The wheel
wheel
rules us
wills
all.
as the wheel weighs or whatever it say in the Wheel of Time books.
So yeah, we're going to watch The Hunger Games: Catching Fire from 2013,
Mm-hmm.
and this is streaming on Amazon Prime.
Two hunger, two games.
Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutcherson, Liam Hemsworth, Woody Harrelson, Elizabeth Banks, Donald Sutherland, Lenny
And other people
Kravitz.
as well.
So many good. There's a lot of good people in this. I think I've seen this one in the first one. I never saw the last two, so maybe I'll have to watch a bunch of them.
I saw the first three in theaters and I just kind of gave up.
I kind of gave up too. I liked the first one, and the second one was okay, but it wasn't okay enough for me to continue on.
And you're
So
just like, maybe I can just watch Battle Royale again.
right. We'll see what my thoughts are when we watch the Hunger Games Catching Fire and talk about that next time.
Yep, two hunger,
Yeah,
two games, or Hunger Games second helping.
second help it. Little less hungry.
There you go.
Hunger Games 2, I'm a little fuller.
Hunger
Uh,
Games 3 dessert course. Should have been called
I,
Hunger Games 4 midnight snack.
midnight snack. Don't feed them after midnight. Um,
Exactly.
until then, you can catch us online. I am on Twitter at AwesomeKM,
And I'm on Twitter at Noah_Saturn. That is spelled Satern.
and we're on Instagram at We Don't Know What to Watch. And you can email us, We Don't Know What to Watch at gmail.com. And like and subscribe and comment below, write us a letter, all that good stuff. And
Send us your
until,
manifesto.
until next time, don't be bad, be good.
Yep. Good guys good. Bad guys bad.